I think it's worth remembering when we look at NGOs' role in Cambodia, just what's gone on in the last 30 years, where we've come from. At the end of Pol Pot's regime, there was nothing here. It was total devastation. All the state structures and institutions were gone. There was no health system, there was no education system, there was no courts, there was no infrastructure. A lot of the people that had the skills and knowledge and experience were gone. They'd been exterminated basically by the Khmer Rouge. So there were no lawyers out there. There were very few teachers or health professionals left. So there's very little to work with. So NGOs had a vital role there in that emergency response, getting in there at ground level, first in sort of thing, and helping to establish some of these basic systems and deliver some of the basic services that were needed to look after the population that was coming back. So it's basic health care, it's feeding people, shelter, basic education, and so there's a vital role there in an emergency response situation for NGOs. Cambodia's undergone a lot of development in the last 20 years. The government, there are now government structures, the administration is in place, there's a functioning democracy, we've had 4 sets of elections, there's an active civil society, so a lot of the structures that make a functioning state are in place. So the role of NGOs has changed. It's no longer emergency response delivering basic services, it's much more about partnership, it's about working with the government to develop the capacity of the country to deliver the services that are required. So it's a whole new mindset for NGOs. With the current situation in Cambodia, there's 3 main challenges for NGOs. The first is to work towards a shared vision and a common approach. So it's about working with the government to determine what needs are and establish that vision. It's about working with other organisations in the sector to ensure that everyone's working towards the same goal and taking the same approach.
The aim is to establish a physical rehabilitation centre for children and families within a local government hospital here in Khmer. So it's an already established hospital that has already identified the lack of rehabilitation services that are here, and we have that information through Dr. Saram, and who's been working here for many years, both as a doctor at the hospital and vice director of this hospital, but also as a surgeon with Operation First Cambodia, which is a Rose Charities project as well. So we have that information, and so we have now come to this hospital and we are here and establishing a holistic rehabilitation centre.
The most important point is we never have this facility, this project in our hospital in the past. So this is the number one, that we really need physiotherapy in the hospital. The physiotherapy not only for a patient after surgery, also need to be held to the patient in the ward. So like a pediatric ward or TB ward, like lung infection after TB. We need some physiotherapy, very important for the physiotherapy. You can see we had TB ward, a lot of patients over there. We had pediatric, also general medicine, a lot stroke patient or some trauma in the surgery ward. We really need physiotherapy.
We have the luxury in Western countries of saying, well, this person needs speech therapy, so that goes to that building there, and that expert, or they need physio to that expert, occupational, whatever that. That doesn't happen in Cambodia. They haven't got those. They haven't got those various disciplines dotted around. So the concept with Rose Cambodia Rehab was to form a centre which is a sort of we're calling it holistic rehab, and holistic in many ways is just simply because you need to identify your problem and try to find out what is going to increase quality of life. It might be education. It might actually be a pair of glasses. It might be the sort of thing that Joanna does. Joanna is an amazingly competent Australian physiotherapist who went and started, as was being really the person who set up, founded, if we're using that word, Rose Cambodia Rehab. She's been pulling in, or she tries to pull in the various disciplines, where and when she can find them, to assist particular people. So she will identify a disabled person, or families will bring them in themselves. More and more that's happening. And then she'll try and plan the therapy out accordingly. And if she needs to bring in surgery, then she brings in the Cambodia Surgical Centre, which is our surgical wing. And it takes it from there. But the ultimate aim is to increase quality of life, to give people a reason, a desire to live and to enjoy life.
It's a very spread out hospital. So this is what will become our main large rehab area. It's been started, but it's not yet finished. As you see, one of the main projects we did in October in 2010 was a mural project, which is this beautiful mural that we've got here that has been painted by people with disabilities here in the community. They were taught to paint and assisted by some kids from Epic Arts in Canter, kids who are actually deaf, teaching people with disabilities from around this area and Praveng to create this mural. So they did it all on their own, and it's quite amazing.
The second challenge is to ensure that the aid that we're delivering is used effectively and efficiently. And that's not just about satisfying donors and showing that the money that they're giving to NGOs has been spent wisely, but it's more about ensuring that the priority needs of the country are being addressed.
Sometimes we see patients that need to be surgery, and then also need to be rehab after surgery. Sometimes we don't want to do because we don't know about the rehab, where we should be sent and where we should follow up. So that I we send to the hospital can have both rehab and surgery together. It's easy for them to do surgery and then rehab. So that's why, like you said earlier, we can get more and more patients involved about surgery and then rehab together. So we can see more and more patients by now.
The health sector is a sector that has undergone huge development, and it is fairly successful now. It is delivering a lot of the basic needs, but just with the limited resources that are available to the government, there's still a lot of gaps, especially in service delivery on the provinces. The real challenge is still to deliver the health services out to the provinces. There's some very remote areas that need to be serviced, and there's big demand for health services there. So that's certainly an ongoing role for NGOs.
Now that sort of a handle is being got on the easy to cure things, or easier to cure, the instant treatment stuff, people are waking up to this fact that there's an awful lot of disability out there, and an awful lot of disability can be treated or can be assisted in many ways. I mean, sometimes in some ways treatment is not the right word, but it's to get people back and to have a better quality of life again. Now, estimates are around about 10% to 12% of any population have disability that can be assisted in some way. Cambodia is 15 million people, so that's 1.5 million people, and they've hardly been touched upon.
Janchia was brought to our attention on just a general village visit. When we talked to her, we discovered that she hasn't walked for the last 4 years because she became ill when she was 21 years old. She's now 25. We think she possibly had an encephalitis, which is a brain infection, a neurological infection of some sort. Possibly, we're not sure, but it's what it seems like. She became ill, and then she became bedridden and became weak, and then her muscles started to change.
Her family is very, very concerned because of Jantia. cannot do anything. So she concerned in the future if Chanchia still like this, Chanchia cannot better and can get more and more deformity and more difficult for her mother to take care of her.
So we proceeded to go back and we did something that's called serial casting, which means we put plaster on her feet and stretched her foot as far as we could into a better position, and we did this over a series of about 8 weeks where every 3 or 4 days we changed the cast and stretched the foot a little bit further, and eventually we got them into a position where she could practice standing, something she hadn't done in a very long time, and the smile on her face was incredible when she started doing that. And she actually started to walk with assistance in her casts, in her plaster casts, which was just incredible for her and her family. We then got her feet to a position where we could take her into another rehab organisation in Phnom Penh who make splints and orthotics. There's an orthotic and prosthetic centre. So we took her in there and they made her some splints, and so now those splints for her legs are keeping her feet in as good a position as they can.
I saw her quite early days actually, and she was, just like I said, she was on some table under a bed table thing under a house. Didn't crack a smile. You see her now, she's just smiling from ear to ear, day after day after day. It's quite extraordinary actually. It's quite wonderful to see. It's quite touching to see.
During our serial casting on her legs, she felt a lot of pain. Sometimes she could not tolerate with it, and sometimes she want to cut her leg off because of pain too much. With the serial casting, and then got a splint from NGO, and with a walking frame, she can walk around the house, and sometimes she walk on the road to visit the neighbor. Is around 20 meters. Before she got the rehab service from our organization, she need a person help her to sit up, standing up, or some people assist her to hold a spoon to eat or cups to drink. That now she can do by herself on getting up from bed, standing up, and eat by herself.
For her, just a little bit can help about surgery. The main job for her is physiotherapy, because she has a main problem in brain. So all the severe case or contracture, she cannot walk with the central problem. So it's not just obvious local problem, but she may need some surgery afterward. That's why we need to discuss. So when the right time to do the surgery for her. In the meantime, physiotherapy can help her a lot.
If the surgery done and her feet is stop pain and she can walk with crutch support, she want to be a tailor.
There's two things that are impacted by her being at home and not working. She's at home and she's not working, and also her mother is at home caring for her and not working as much. So her mother is actually able to go out and work a bit more now. I've noticed that even myself, often when we go there now, her mother will be out working in the rice fields and will come back. She'll always come back to be involved in the session, but she's not there continuously like she was previously. So she's already been freed up and is a little bit more independent, which is fabulous. So that's the financial need for her to make an income, but also for herself and her own well-being. She she would like to be doing something meaningful. She wants a fulfilling life, and so that's a pretty important reason to try and help her.
Another challenge for NGOs is that of sustainability. There's got to be a focus on sustainability. What happens when the NGO's job is done? How do they move out? So that's about capacity development. Capacity development is the phrase we use so often in the development sector. It's about ensuring that the country has the capacity to deliver the services that are required. So it's very important that NGOs are working with the government and working with civil society within the country to ensure that their role as they step back from it is filled and the services keep flying.
Cambodia is a poor country, so we need international support. So when we have the strong support internationally or internally, we can get more and more project can run very well. But as we know, the fund we can get forever. So that's why during this we can get training to our local staff, so to the hospital staff, and the hospital staff can run the project and help the people after we running out of fund later on. But sure, we need fund at least 5 or 10 years for building the project and sustain the project after that.
Those involved with physiotherapy progression in Cambodia are working on trying to get a degree course established here in Cambodia, but it's not yet in place. Yeah, but at the moment there's no way any Cambodian physio can get a degree here within the country at the moment. There's a few that have done, there's an upgrade training program which Sokni has, he completed in 2008. That's when I first met Sokni. I was teaching on that program. Then there's the opportunity for certain physios who have done that course to do extra training. I believe it's 6 months in Singapore. And once they've done that, again a certain few are chosen to, if they have English proficiency, to go to Australia to study there to upgrade their diploma to a degree, to get a degree in physiotherapy. But as yet none have done that. No Cambodian physios have a degree yet. As you can see, it's a long haul. So what they're trying to work on at the moment is establishing a degree program here in Cambodia, but of course to have a program that works towards getting a degree means you need people who already have the degree to teach it, which means you either need international people teaching it, which means they need to be able to teach in Khmer, or the students need to be able to be taught in English. Right. Or we need to make sure we get some Cambodian people up to degree level through that other long process that I spoke about to then teach at the university.
The importance of the Cambodians getting the highest qualification in physiotherapy mainly is they can come back and pass it on. So you've got people being able to put over this information. They're going to be able to teach in their own language, which is really important, or write the textbooks in their own language, plan out the whole structure of the organisation in their own language and in their own culture. They will understand the culture, because there are things that simply will fit, and others that won't fit, and others where the local culture could be probably melded, could be dovetailed in some way to fit with physical therapy concepts. Hugely important.
If possible, I want to study in Australia or Canada, because Australia and Canada is a very popular country, and the degree of physiotherapy is very high. In Cambodia, it's just a diploma. So if I have a high degree, I can share experience with physiotherapy school teacher, and we will create a course, a modern course, a modern physiotherapy course, and provide the training to the student and as well to the Cambodian physiotherapy. Yes.
really strive to be within the system, even if we have to make compromises on this, as opposed to a lot of other organisations that are sort of superimposed, like bubbles on the system. I'm not saying they can't influence, but as well, but from within the system, Dr. Sarong is one of the leading surgeons in Cambodia, within the sort of Cambodian system. He's not an expatriate who's come in and is doing a lot of surgery. He's within that. So he has the context, he has the links, and he's obviously aware of the benefits of physiotherapy. That's a huge coup. I would say that probably the vast majority of Cambodian surgeons are not that particularly aware, in my experience, of what physio could do. It's just physio. But Sarong really is aware. He really knows. He really knows what it can be done. So with him pushing, and we trying to kind of influence and promote in a certain direction, I'm hoping, and the Cambodian Physical Therapy Association, I'm hoping that's a good groundwork. It's a good foundation to try and build more on.
All patients, they are a person. So before they got illness, they are normal people, can walk, can go to do anything. But after they got sick or ill, they cannot do anything. We have to find a solution, and we have to make a plan to help them, because this is our skill that we can help people. Yes, and we want, and I want to help the complicated people to beyond our disability, or to help them can have ability to move at least indoor, or independent on functional activity like toilet, dressing, bathing, eating. Yes, we try to find the solution to find them. Yes.